And we are back. For now, we are jumping into our third and final conversation for today, and we are joined by representatives of Fabrigas Belize Limited, and they are going to be telling us all about some upcoming promotions. With us this morning are Justin Sabido, who is the sales manager with Fabrigas Belize Limited and has been with the company for over 18 years. And we also have Glenford Baptist, who is the special products coordinator and has been with Fabrigas for over 20 years. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Right.
I am Justin Sabido, sales manager.
Right. And thank you so much for joining us. Now, let's jump right into the topic and let's talk a little bit about Fabrigas, what you guys do, and what, of course, are some of the upcoming specials that people can take advantage of.
We are a compressed gas company. We sell industrial gases. Those would be oxygen, nitrogen, acetylene, carbon dioxide, argon, helium, hydrogen, some mixes. We also sell welding equipment and consumables, fire safety equipment, industrial safety equipment, and some medical equipment. What we're here to discuss today is our medical oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
So we, in this time of COVID, lots of products are in short supply, worldwide shortages, suppliers can't supply. There are lots of long lead time, lots of back orders. But we would like to assure the Belizean public that we have an ample supply of medical oxygen.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So when the pandemic started earlier this year, it seems that you guys were very proactive in being able to secure your source of medical oxygen before it could ever reach a point of shortage. Was that the practice that you did?
Yes, we had to be proactive. I mean, we realized from early on that this pandemic is going to grow and that a second wave would eventually be. What we did was to start to prepare ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Even before the pandemic, we tripled our supply. We tripled our capacity, our cold storage capacity of liquid oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
And at the onset of the pandemic, all of our microbulk cylinders or liquid cylinders to be refurbished so that we could get maximum efficiency out of them.
Yeah.
These are the cylinders that supply liquid oxygen to hospitals.
Okay.
These cylinders were actually also fitted with telemetry systems that enable us to monitor the circulation remotely. So it gives us the ability to check how much oxygen are at various regional hospitals without having to go and without having to rely on the staff of the hospital to go and daily checks.
Yeah.
As their staff, they're busy people also.
Yeah. So I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but there seems to be a feedback. I think you guys have maybe a radio around or something that needs to be turned down, just so we could continue the conversation. And we can maybe get Glenford in to talk a bit about preparing for a time where there'll be increased demand, working with customers, and still some of the innovation you have there.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, as a part of our program of preparedness, if you will, the medical oxygen that is our primary product for hospitals. We introduced technology, if you will, when we came into Belize back in the late 90s. Traditionally, medical oxygen was administered using high pressure cylinders, and we introduced technology that was cutting edge in its time. So we started a program where most of the major hospitals in Belize were fitted with distribution systems, which essentially put the medical oxygen supply at bed heads. So we moved away from having a high pressure, large cylinder at a patient's bedside, and we changed that to a simple outlet that you would plug a flow meter into. You can think of it as a electrical outlet that you simply plug your appliance into, and it's powered. So in this case, we did the same for oxygen, where you simply got a flow meter and you plug it into that outlet that's at patient's heads. And that we did that in all of the hospitals. So as it relates to emergency preparedness, it's a scenario where we simply build the systems where they are expandable, and we simply add on and expand to those systems as is required. Now, for COVID-19, we have been partnering with the Ministry of Health, and they have identified a few locations that will have COVID-19 units. And we are currently in the process of carrying out installations at those locations to ensure that we are able to get medical oxygen to the patients. But more importantly, those installations limit the amount of interaction that the health workers would have with the patients. So the installations add a lot to the safety of the health worker and doctors.
Yeah. And have you seen, other than being proactive and being able to ensure the supply, has there been an increase in demand?
Well, certainly there has been, because oxygen is the first line drug, if you will, for stabilizing patients. So that is the first drug that is administered to patients when there's need to stabilize them. We all are aware that COVID-19 creates some respiratory distress, and that also means then that the level of dissolved oxygen that's in the patient's bloodstream, if you will, is reduced, and that is something that's very bad for your health. So by introducing oxygen therapy, patients are able to be stabilized, and that's one person that's done in the COVID-19 intervention. So indeed, there is a demand for oxygen. That's the reason for all this effort in getting oxygen readily available to patients wherever they are.
And that is all the more reason why this promotion that you have is so potentially beneficial. So perhaps we can get a little bit more details about what Fabrigas is offering for right now in terms of the oxygen.
All right. For that topic, I will need Justin to speak on that.
Sure.
Because that's more his area.
Well, we don't have a special offering per se. We actually came into the show with the intention of speaking about medical oxygen, and the public that we have a stable supply. But oxygen is this medical oxygen is available for use of not only COVID patients, but for any medical patients that require the use of medical oxygen. But to get the medical oxygen, patients require a prescription from their doctor for us to be able to issue it to them. Many times we have people coming in and they just want to buy a cylinder of oxygen just should in case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not how it works.
You
We
can't do that, right?
prescribe-
You don't sell that way.
No, we
Yeah.
can't prescribe a flow rate and a frequency of use. That's what a doctor does depending on the condition that the patient has. And oxygen is a it can potentially be fatal as well. Remember that 21% of the air we breathe is oxygen. It's not 100%. And the oxygen that's being delivered from our high pressure cylinder or from the wall outlets is 99.8% pure minimum. So there's a flow rate which is prescribed by the doctor. So that's the amount of oxygen that's being delivered to the patient.
Yeah.
That depends on how much the patient needs, what his dissolved oxygen level is in his blood. And it's not for us to determine, that's for the doctor to determine. And so for us to be safe, to help prevent the patient from poisoning himself with oxygen,
Yeah.
we require a prescription from the doctor.
So, since you have increased your supply, one of the other concerns, of course, is looking at being in the hurricane season and the threats that come from that in terms of storage and the extra protection that you have in place. What do you guys have there in being able to keep your storage safe?
Hey, let me share some of what we have in place. Fabrigas Belize Limited has an action plan, if you will, for emergencies and hurricanes being one of them. A hurricane gives you a window where you are warned, its direction, its speed, and general characteristics. Now, during that time, we put a priority on our medical installations. So our hospitals, our clinics are stocked and given extra supply of medical oxygen. Medical patients, one area that we have put a lot of work has been to develop the area of home care. During any illness, it's important that your patient, your loved one, is comfortable. So we have developed this area of home care where we provide respiratory therapy equipment for use in homes, like I said, to ensure that patients are comfortable.
Yeah.
So during this COVID time, as in a hurricane or any other disaster, we have supply of medical cylinders, regulators, cannulas, nebulizers. All those things are readily available right now at Fabrigas. We have stocked up on those because of the nature of the pandemic we are currently in.
Yeah.
And it is handled the same for any other disasters that we're preparing for. But rest assured that we put our program in place, our emergency supply program, where, like I said earlier, hospitals are targeted, clinics are targeted those areas are stocked up, we ensure that we have on hand at our plant a reasonable quantity of medical oxygen that we can ship at any location in any given time. We also have our bulk storage. For argument's sake, one of the largest installation we have here right now is at the Carl Houston Memorial Hospital, right? And we ensure that that particular cryogenic tank is filled to its capacity. We have some of the major hospitals, for argument's sake, Northern Regional Hospital, that's the public hospital for the government over in Orange Walk. We have the Corozal Community Hospital. We have Western Regional Hospital in Bonpan. We have San Ignacio Community Hospitals. These are all hospitals where we have micro bulk cylinders. And we ensure that all of these are topped up and an adequate number of standby high pressure cylinders are made available.
Excellent.
Yes, what you have on the screen there is locations where we have where we have our micro bulk cylinders, and that also is a screenshot of our remote monitoring that we are able to in our offices, on our cell phones, wherever we are, that we need to verify quantities at various locations, we can do so remotely.
That's awesome. So I mean, there's no physical check that is required. No one has to go there. You can be able to monitor these things with technology.
Monitor, and we can also on that particular shot. We can also detect the consumption history. So it's a very useful tool in not only remote monitoring, but through history we can predict future consumption to be prepared.
Yeah.
So we can determine, you know what, in 5 days, in 10 days, based on this consumption, we will need to make these scheduling events.
Yeah. All right. So in addition to ensuring that there's sufficient medical oxygen available, especially looking at where there's an assumption that there will be an increase in demand, and also your remote monitoring, now you're actually providing face shields as well. Who wants to tell us about that?
We have face shields. We have face shields. I've recently gotten a new shipment masks. These face, we have some that are the N95 type, and we have some that are the cloth type.
Okay.
At very, very reasonable prices. The cloth ones, I think, are under $3 each. They just arrived yesterday, actually. And the N95 masks are around $4 to $5 each, but very high quality. It's not these very thin virus type masks that are all around.
Okay.
So that brings up something interesting. So like, how important has it been for Fabrigas as a company to respond to some of the needs of that have come up since the pandemic has begun? Because you're not looking at just, of course, oxygen. You're providing other products such as face shields and masks. So what's it been like for Fabrigas as a company meeting those needs and preparing to serve the general public?
Well, I think like every other company, it's challenging because demand is high and supply is low. Supply is low in the sense that you just can't get these products. In non-COVID time, you place more than 2 or 3 weeks for shipment is in that, and you have your products. In these times, you go 2 or 3 months waiting for your order to come in, and then when it comes in, it's not complete. Then a portion of it is on back order. So, it's a challenge it's a challenge to keep up the demand. We just have to work on the challenge as best we can.
Yeah.
One thing that we didn't mention yet is an additional safety measure that we have built in here at our facility, which is our sanitization tunnel. We've built a sanitization tunnel for all incoming trucks. So when our delivery trucks come in from deliveries, these trucks go straight through the sanitization tunnel. That is up on the screen now. The entire truck and all the cylinders are sprayed down with a solution to sanitize them. So what this does is it ensures that only clean cylinders go up onto our filling platform. For smaller vehicles, for customers that might come with 1 or 2 cylinders, we have a spray pump with the solution, and those cylinders are sanitized before they go to the filling platform. This is very important because these cylinders are coming from all over the country. Some are coming from hospitals and clinics. Some are coming from industrial settings. And we need to guarantee that they're clean and sanitized before we get them to the filling plant and make all the other cylinders that are already clean. So that's another important safety step that we take.
Yeah. No, that's definitely important, considering the fact that you are dealing with medical supplies as well, and you want to ensure that everything is as sanitized as possible. So just in terms of closing, looking at the products that you do, because some of what you offer, it's directly to the hospitals, to medical facilities. But then when you look at your individual items like your face shields, your masks, those are things that the public would be interested in as well. So where can they go to be able to purchase these items? And how do they get in touch if they want to find out more?
Well, everyone is welcome to visit our facility at mile 2 and 3/4 George Price Highway in Belize City. Everyone is welcome to visit our various dealers throughout the country who all have these products. We can be reached at 2225327 or 28. We could be reached. You can check us out on Facebook. You can check us out on our website also.
All right. Well, thank you so much for telling us about the work that you have been doing and how you are rising to the challenge during this pandemic, and we appreciate the update. Thank you so much, Justin, and thank you, Glenford.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, stay safe.
Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah. All right. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take our final break, and when we come back, we'll have our wrap-up, so stay tuned.